Welcome, 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 everybody. I'm live. I'm standing up because I want to show you what came in the mail today. So, y'all have seen a few times on my screen, y'all, I have shown y'all. Let me move myself over to the little bit. Okay, you see that sweatshirt? I'm wearing it. It's a unisex sweatshirt. On the front, it says, I keep receipts. And on the back, let me turn around without messing up anything. It says, you see it? 2121. Y'all, it's fine. So y'all need to run out and get you one. Don't forget. You can scan the QR code. You can check out in um the banner, the website address. You can use my code, NOLA Girl, all caps. This is a large, y'all. On the inside, it's so comfy and cozy. It feels like you snuggled under a throw. You are not going to want to take off. I keep receipts with 21 on the back. It is cute, cute, cute. All right, ready to ship? Use my code NOLA Girl, all caps, at checkout. If you don't know what I'm saying right now, just look at the bottom of the screen and check out all of the deets at the bottom of the screen. All right, so I'm getting ready to take my seat. One more time, one more time. I keep receipts. This is a large, unisex, and 21 on the back. Excellent quality. All right, so let me take my seat. All right, welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. All right, we have a good show planned. Let me get the church announcements out the way. We are currently less than 100 subscribers away from 5,500. I told y'all when I get to 6,000, I plan to celebrate like I'm Kai Sanat, who when he hit 1,000,000 subs on Twitch, because it means that much. It means a lot. I think I have earned these subs. So let's see if on this platform, let's see if y'all can at least get me to 5,450. I'll take 5,450 subs. So make sure that you guys subscribe. All right, I just want to make sure I can hear myself. Okay. All right. So we got a good show planned for tonight. Y'all know it's a lot happening. It's a lot happening. And I think people are coming over to our side. I think people are finally catching up to us when we said, when we say uh, Cleveland is intentionally holding Shedeur back, right? So, one thing about it, a couple of things happening at the same time, right? So I feel like I can call Shedeur nephew or cousin at this point. I like nephew because I feel like I'm a little mama bear when it comes to him, but that's not my child. But we've been following this kid. I respect Miss Pilar. I respect Coach Prime. So I feel like I can call him nephew, right? I feel like this my nephew and y'all playing in his face and I'll be damned. That's how I feel. And I feel like, we as a podcast community have been saying for months, since we found out he was uncomfortable and wouldn't do this, that, they were mistreating him. And the whole way through the ride, we've been saying, they're not letting up anytime soon. He's not going to get a fair opportunity. When he first got to Cleveland, they said he was a fifth round pick, but he could not select his jersey number because he's a fifth round pick. And that was actually said by the NFL Network that was recently sold off to ESPN, with the NFL taking a 10% claim in ESPN, which in my opinion is conflict interest, but that's another show. So to me, it seems like ESPN has to skirt the line. When they want to hold NFL teams accountable, they have to do it in a way where it's subtle, but then they have to, in the same breath, before they finish their sentence and add punctuation, they have to justify why Shedeur Sanders is being held back. So what am I talking about? Earlier today, there was a headline, I think it was ESPN asking, does Kevin Stefanski even like Shedeur? Now, podcasters have more aggressive, straightforward, honest captions like, I think the Speakeasy said, Kevin Stefanski hates Shedeur, and I didn't see a question mark. I saw another podcaster, saying similar things. I started, my caption is speaking to corruption, because I said after Flacco was suddenly traded, I said what? They doing dirty business over there. That's what I said. I've said they have been toxic from the get-go. I said I felt like, based on what we have seen, not my feelings, but looking at the evidence, what? That Cleveland pre-draft with Shedeur Sanders at the number 2 position. But when they drafted him at 144, we heard Barry say on the record they got him for a deep discount. But they treat him in Cleveland like he was never a first round projected QB and that they were never planning to pay him $46 million until Haslam remembered, oh, we have Deshaun Watson. We took a big swing and miss with him. So we need to unbury ourselves out of that first. And after first, you can just add ... We pay Shedeur $46 million. You've been having Deshaun since 2022. Shedeur was at Jackson State when you had Deshaun. So you've always known you've had Deshaun. And to use and throw Deshaun under the bus as if he's the problem in Cleveland, when in fact, Deshaun Watson apparently doesn't fit Stefanski's style of coaching as a dual threat. But neither does Shedeur Sanders as a pocket passer. Seemingly the only quarterback that fits Stefanski's style of coaching is game manager Dylan Gabriel, who was an undrafted free agent, so he ran over there to the Manning Passing Academy. So no black quarterback fits his style. No elite quarterback fits Stefanski's style. And I don't even understand how Haslam can allow Stefanski to drive his team into the ground when Stefanski has a sub 500 record. The Browns are dead last in their division. They are 1-4, and they do not have any sense of urgency to try to win. So I personally do not believe at this point that they ever intended to draft Shedeur. And after the recent quarterback shuffle, which appears to be random, I'm not so sure. Because what happened when the Browns drafted Shedeur? What happened before that? The Browns traded up in the 5th round. They traded up in the 5th round to get Shedeur in the same round. They traded 2 spots, 2 draft picks. Well, guess what? They just got those draft picks back. That's right. 2 draft picks were expended for Cleveland to get to 144 to get Shedeur. Before the regular season, when Pickett was traded after he sucked up some of the reps that they claimed the QB room was overcrowded, seems to me they intentionally made the QB room overcrowded. Before week 1, Pickett is traded, and guess what the Browns get in exchange? A 5th round pick. That's 1. Now, supposedly, Flacco was surprisingly traded. And guess what the Browns get back from the Bengals? A 5th round pick. So that means that the Cleveland Browns, by way of Andrew Berry, have recouped the 2 5th round picks that they expended on Shedeur Sanders. Now, how is it that they happen to have an overcrowded QB room and it's randomly put together, and they just all of a sudden decide to recoup their 5th round pick that they used to get Shedeur Sanders, who's a QB, in the 5th round? They recouped it by trading 2 quarterbacks. So they got 1 quarterback, spent 2 picks, and now they trade 2 quarterbacks and get those 2 picks back. And people scratch their head as to why you would even get Kenny Pickett, who was hella injury prone, and why it is you would get Flacco, who's 40 or 41, and did exactly what people said he would do. If you stand and you look at the bigger picture on how Shedeur has been treated in Cleveland, I don't think it's an accident. If you look at who was traded first, the pre-draft process, they have targeted Shedeur. I believe they targeted Shedeur the moment Shedeur became the number 1 overall pick in October of 2024. I believe that's when the Browns said, let's get Shedeur, not because they wanted him to be their quarterback, but because they knew they were going to take him off the board. Because they knew coming into this class there were 3 black quarterbacks that were elite, and 3 of them were forecast from the number probably 6, 8, and 9 out of the top 10 of college quarterbacks, right? So that means I knew it was going to be Milroe. I knew before the season started it was going to be Cam. I knew it was going to be Shedeur. I knew Shedeur was in there somewhere. They handled Shedeur first. They handled the Shedeur first by showing interest in Shedeur. Remember, 31 NFL scouts and executives came to Colorado's game, which meant we interested in somebody over here. We cool with y'all. But look at how they got treated in the draft. And even after the draft, they try to trash Travis. And as of late, Liam Combs is either confused or he threatened by Coach Prime because, yes, there were rumors out there that somewhere down the line that Coach Prime would end up coaching in Jacksonville. This came from Pac-Man Jones before the season even started. And I know he knows what the hell he's talking about because his co-host said he heard the same thing. And now we hear Liam Cohen basically taking shots by saying, oh, yeah, Travis only practiced on defense. In other words, they turned him into an elite wide receiver when he actually made the same damn catch he made in the Utah game at Colorado. So much so that I think Bucky put out footage of Travis practicing on both sides of the ball in 2023. And I said, oh, Liam Cohen must feel a little, he just got to Jacksonville. He must feel a little, feel like maybe Coach Prime going to come for his job because the rumor is they were trying to trade Trevor, but his contract was so heavy, he's there under contract until 2029, 2030. Coach Prime's contract ends in 2029. By that moment, Shedeur and Travis and Coach Prime could all be in Jacksonville. So I don't think it's a coincidence that Liam Cohen is taking shots. It's because the conversation started before the season that Coach Prime would eventually, after he was done with Colorado, move on to Jacksonville. And that might be why people are trying to sabotage Coach Prime's season. So there's a lot happening that you don't know about. And because I watch everybody's show before I do my own show, I kind of can see what's going on. And then I watch the news. And then I watch football games. I'm a sports fan. So essentially, what's going on with Shedeur has everything to do with 17-32, the owners taking him off the board. The Browns trading up 2 spots, using 2 fifth-round picks to get Shedeur, but treating him like he's a developmental QB. He needs to sit for a year or 2 and learn, when just 3 months before the draft, he was going to be a $46 million QB. And you notice they never talk about that. Merrick Cabot is on camera, and I've shared it before, down at Colorado's pro day, talking about, the Browns trying to make a decision on whether they want to get Shedeur only or Shedeur and Travis. And everybody pointed out how Stefanski showed no interest in Shedeur, but he was looking at Travis. And then on April 10th, after CU's pro day, they decided to go get Flacco off his couch with a $4 million contract, totaling up to $13 million with incentives. And they already acquired and signed Pickett. They sent their 5th-round pick, DTR, Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They sent him to Philly, where Andrew Berry's twin brother is senior vice president or something over there that has something to do with decisions on personnel. And they sent DTR over there, and he became a 3rd-round pick. And I told y'all they probably was going to put Shedeur in against Baltimore because that's the game that they used to devalue DTR. And I did a whole thing, and I posted it on social media, a short, saying they're going to try to do Shedeur just like they doing DTR. And I said it yesterday. Cleveland love that 5th-round pick, don't they? They love it so much, they used 2 5th-round picks to get Shedeur. They traded their 5th-round pick to Philly for Pickett, traded Pickett for a 5th-round pick in exchange to Vegas. And then Flacco was sent over with a 6th-round pick, which means they don't value him at all. and got back a 5th round pick, which means they got the 2 picks they expended to get Shedeur. So we got what we dealt Shedeur. What we had to spend to get Shedeur, we got it back. That's what it is. So people were hitting me up today to say they heard that the Bengals offered a 3rd round pick to get Shedeur because supposedly the Bengals are recognizing Shedeur's value. And I was like, I looked into it and it said, no, that's not the case. And I looked, but I did find out something else. I was right when I said they have tried to trade him multiple times. After that Rams game, someone on the inside of the organization said, we should have traded him after that game. They were not expecting Shedeur to ball out versus the Rams. That's why they had to set him up versus the Panthers. That's why they had to set him up versus the Rams. And the Rams game for Shedeur is the same game that DTR played against Baltimore. The game they used to justify and hold you back. So when DTR did not do well against, he's a 5th round pick, and he's a true 5th round pick. When he didn't do well against Baltimore, they shipped him out to Philly the following year after just having him sit there and do nothing in 2024. Sent him to Philly and got Pickett. Do you really think they expected Pickett to perform all year? I don't. He's injury prone. I think Pickett came to suck up the reps. I do believe they expected Flacco to ball out, but the trade deadline is November 6th. I think they expected Flacco to be finished by November 6th. So when the trade deadline comes, they can then trade him for a 5th round pick. So the plan to bring in Pickett, to bring in Flacco, why would you bring in Pickett and Flacco? That's a head scratcher right there. Pickett, Flacco, and Dillon. You got 3 quarterbacks through one draft process. You got 3 quarterbacks, and you ended up with a. I believe, after looking at what they recouped, their investment in Shedeur with 2 other quarterbacks who sucked up reps, that was always the plan. Now, I believe also that they retaliated against Flacco for gravitating towards Shedeur like he's been doing since the Panthers game. Flacco is the only quarterback that showed genuine interest in helping Shedeur to mold him for the next level. And I believe they were always going to trade him before November 6th because they only expected him to play up to the Miami game. They were going to trade him by the trade deadline and get their 5th round pick back, which means when I pre-draft with Shedeur and I so-called pivoted away from him, but was still down at CU pretending to be interested, and a week later I get Flacco and I already got Pickett. I got Pickett because I knew. I always knew I was just reeling Shedeur in. I always had my sights set on Flacco. And what did I do? I pre-draft with Dillon secretly and nobody knew. Because everybody, including the media, thought we was getting Shedeur at number 2. So they wanted Shedeur to be on the hook to come to Green Bay. And like the reporter said, it's a good thing Shedeur didn't go to Green Bay because he's locked out of the 1st round. So did he piss the owners off because he didn't want to go there and get embarrassed? So they said, screw it, take him off the board? Or was that always the plan? Like getting Flacco and Pickett and Shedeur at a deep discount and Dillon in the 3rd and stacking them all in front of Shedeur so he never get to QB1 out of sheer cruelty. The same sheer cruelty that they exhibited when the NFL gave out Shedeur Sanders' phone number to 2,000 people who did not need to know, and they lied and said it was the Falcons when they knew it was the New York Giants, and they knew it was somebody from Ole Miss that knew the daughter of the GM, and the Ole Miss connection runs through the Mannings. It's not a coincidence that all 3 organizations that are linked to the Mannings, or 2 for sure, the Giants and the Saints, it's not a coincidence that the Mannings seem to be able to place Tyler Shaw and Jackson Dart above Shedeur. And now, Haslam runs down to Ohio State versus Texas. How long you think Haslam knew he was going to get the Manning kid next year? Why you think they was trying to force the Manning kid to come out next year? He didn't want to come out next year. He wanted to be at UT for 2 years, and now you see why. So Haslam ran himself out there, not because he's had conversations with the Manning kids, but he's had conversations with who? And that same with who is probably allowing Stefanski to show his AZZ because they're going to fire him. Because ain't no way in hell the Mannings going to put up with Stefanski over Arch Manning. Stefanski is not a good coach. Arch Manning is already better than Dylan. He just needed probably another year to develop, which is why he wanted 2 years. But they trying to force him out so he could go to Cleveland and they could start pre-celebrating all the way up to when their new stadium opened in 2029, when it was predicted Coach Prime would be in Jacksonville and finish with Colorado. None of this is a coincidence. Liam Cohen basically acting like Coach Prime didn't develop Travis. That they did it. Because he feeling some type of way about the rumors he heard about Coach Prime becoming the future coach at Jacksonville. It's not a coincidence that Mary Cabot came out and said in some little post today that made its way around, Kevin Stefanski's job is not on the hot seat because the Cleveland Browns don't know who their quarterback is. And see, that's BS right there. You don't want to see Shedeur as your quarterback, and you know Dylan is not your quarterback. So that ought to tell y'all Dylan was going to always be in front of Shedeur, and ain't no way in the hell you was going to pay Shedeur $46 million as your franchise QB, and you going to go with Dylan in front of your $46 million QB that you got for $4 million. No, not when you can open your mouth and Dylan is QB1 and say, I don't know who my quarterback is. That means you don't value Dylan. You just need Dylan on the hook to act rude towards Shedeur so he can want to stay right there and never turn around and ask Stefanski, why are you using him back? So they had to get into Dylan's head and make him believe and pit him against Shedeur. Guess who else they going to pit against Shedeur when he come back? Yep, Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson said, I'm taking Shedeur under my wing, and all hell broke loose over there, and he couldn't even come outside to the practice facility no more. It said that he's expected to return to practice soon. So this is what it's supposed to do. I believe they always knew Pickett and Flacco were temporary and came in to suck up the reps. I believe they always wanted Dylan to get to QB2. And by the time we got to week 7, now I'm finished with Flacco. I can trade him and let him move on. And Dylan can check down from game 8 to game 17 because Flacco did the work. We don't care about winning or losing because we want the Manning kid. We already got the number 1 pick. We already got 2 first-round picks. Hell, I mean, I love a discount, so I could just take the season, and then I have 3. I can have 3 first-round picks if I tank because I already have 2. And then I can build my super team with the Manning kid, this person, that person, Carson Schlesinger, Mason Graham, and it'll be mostly white. That's their goal. They know Shedeur is good because they was going to pay him $46 million. They don't talk about it because they don't want to admit that he's good because they've already falsely accused him of not being able to learn and comprehend the playbook, which is based on a racial stereotype against Black quarterbacks. They don't want you to know they lied when they said he wasn't good. But Andrew Berry already told us he got Shedeur at a deep discount, which meant he was already highly valued and they got him on sale. Now, a lot of people say they're trying to break Shedeur. That's futile at this point. Early on, it was a problem. And we were right to be concerned. Justice for Kyron Lacy. But now, I watched Shedeur's interview today. I watched him unbothered. I watched him breeze through those questions. I watched him give answers that they wanted to hear. I watched him stand up for himself. He good. He's at the point where he know he gonna be there or he not, and he's unbothered by it. He said it. I mean, none of us might not be here tomorrow, so we just stay ready. Everything they want to do to mentally crush this young man is failing. They want him to be upset because Stefanski is non-committal on who QB2 is. I posted today on X, Shedeur, you got 6 million of us riding with you. The Lord is your shepherd. There is nothing that you lack. If they don't make you QB2, cool. Because all they're doing at this point, because Shedeur is unbothered and they cannot break him, Russell Wilson, because that's what he sounded like today. They asked him about helping Dylan to get ready. He said, yeah, we just all helping, want to make sure Dylan is ready. Russell Wilson. And you ain't going to tell me he ain't been talking to Russell Wilson. That's what you do. Tell them what they want to hear so they get the hell out your face. And tell them, I'm here to help all my teammates. Dylan too, because we want to win. I don't give a damn if you believe it or not, but that's what you say. And he's at the point where he knows what to say. So that means they can't break him. And from here on out, if they want to bring Bailey Zapp off the practice squad and put him in front of Shedeur, cool, because we already know Shedeur is better than Bailey Zapp. So if they want to put Dylan out there and check down their way through the next few losses, lose, win one, because somebody going to give you one, like the Packers did. Because they really wanted to keep Flacco until the first 7 games. You heard Stefanski? Yeah, when I had to put Dylan in, I really had to think about that because they know he's not good. They telling Dylan to his face, you don't mean nothing to us. We're going to get somebody in front of you. But when you happen to have a T-shirt, I guess, they tell him to his face when they say things like that. We found our quarterback. Well, what the hell am I, toast? A favor to a friend? Valueless? No point for Shedeur to fight to be Cleveland's franchise QB. You know why? Because Shedeur is good and he's going to take a team far into the Super Bowl. If AI had him predicted as an MVP of the NFL a few years down the line for the Minnesota Vikings, that's based on stats. That's based on stats of who's already there and who's coming behind him. Now, I know AI is being misused, but when it comes to calculation, it's goddamn spot on. The only reason he would be is that they continue to collude and restrict his movement. And that's all that's coming out of Cleveland. With Shedeur being solid and hip to the game and walking the walk and talking the talk, we ain't got to worry. He good now. Every soundbite going forward is just evidence to be used to prove in a court of law that Kevin Stefanski and the Cleveland Browns have a toxic workplace environment rife with corruption, including collusion, intimidation, retaliation. You bundle all that together, you know what it's called? Dishonest and fraudulent business. It's called racketeering. And I said it 2 days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, you are right here. This is racketeering. So Shedeur is good. We don't have to worry about him no more. But we're going to keep showing him love. It's 6 million of us riding with him, QB2 or not. And that's what pisses them off. Because their goal was to bury him on the depth chart and us to move on. Because they think we don't stick together. But we're not the only fans that he had. And they don't want to accept that either. Just like the Browns don't want to accept that some of their fans are Shedeur Sanders fans. They want to separate the two so they don't have to be accountable to the Browns fans. And I'd have said to them people in Cleveland, y'all better take a page out the Saints book and stand up for the money that you spending. So that's on them. Our guy is good. nephew Cuzzo is good. All I'm seeing is racketeering. There's enough out there to start an investigation, whether it's an investigative news report by one of these damn TV stations, or whether it's some lawyers just sitting in the background, just waiting for us to get to a point where I got enough. Because the more Stefanski talks, the worse it gets. And I told y'all, Stefanski was going to be akin to the dumb criminal in the movie that gets everybody roped up, which wouldn't surprise me if before that happened, they get rid of him. Don't be surprised. Because you have to be arrogant or stupid to 24 hours after Brian Flores's lawsuit that you wanted to go through NFL arbitration, and a judge already said no, and you appealed it, and then a judge said, nope, we going through court. You have to be arrogant or stupid to continue to blatantly discriminate against Shedeur Sanders with 6 million people at minimum paying attention. Just like the NFL draft. And what happened in the draft? Somebody on the inside told Boomer Esiason, oh, the owners took him off the board. And I was like, did he really just say that? He admitted to collusion. What did Eric Dickerson say? They trying to teach him a lesson. False. They are openly discriminating against Shedeur. They are intentionally holding Shedeur back from QB1. It's already documented. If I put him in a game, I already know how many times Dylan been sacked. I already know how many times Flacco been sacked. Shedeur can't get sacked 5 times. Shedeur is better than Dylan and Flacco, which means he should be sacked probably once. And Coach Prime already said it. Don't be afraid to use those check downs. Because if he played a check down game and every now and then mix it up with a little play action, he going to be a star in Cleveland because they're mediocre. He's elite. They're mediocre. And they don't care about losing, but that's between them and their fans. Now, I felt like earlier today, I heard Stephen A. after the caption read, does Stefanski like Shedeur or something like that. Stephen A. gave his commentary. And he was good when he started off with saying something's not right. You know how when you have a smell test, something doesn't pass the smell test. Now, I said this yesterday when it came to Emmanuel Acho, who said he was confused. Today, he came back and said they have no intentions on using Shedeur. Shedeur might as well ask for a trade. Shedeur ain't got to ask for nothing. Put the pressure on the Browns to trade him. Don't put Shedeur in the situation to be retaliated against like Deshaun Watson. You think it's a coincidence Shedeur over there with Deshaun Watson? No, it's not. So you don't put the pressure on Shedeur to ask for nothing because he didn't do nothing wrong. You hold the Browns and Stefanski accountable because when the pressure get too high over there, everybody going to turn on Stefanski and they're going to kick him out. The owner is not taking a fall for Stefanski because the owner told you already Stefanski makes a decision as to who plays. So when the fans decide to get tired of the BS, Stefanski going to take the blame. He already been set up by the owner since he a faithful servant to the Cleveland Browns. Let's see how that works for you. Maybe he can ask Jerry Jeudy. It doesn't. They just going to discard you just like you did the Goon Squad that had Shedeur sacked 5 times. It's called karma. What you have been doing to Shedeur will be done to you by those you thought you were puppeteering for. So when Stephen A. said something's not right over there, this don't smell right, it's not passing the smell test, with Shedeur not, being named QB2 because he's already QB2 on the depth chart unless they change it in the last 10 minutes. Because he automatically moved up because that's the process. What the hell am I going to get Bailey Zapp off the practice squad for? And like I said, don't get too excited because just like you didn't know Flacco was getting traded, don't be surprised if Andrew Berry over there packaging up some little draft picks and he going to go ahead and get him a quarterback, a veteran quarterback, because they over there thirst trapping off of Mac Jones. And if Mac Jones show up, it's because the Manning kids said, I am not coming out of school next year, kiss my butt. And they like, I got to find something else to do. and I can't risk it waiting for the next draft class. So I'm gonna go get Mac Jones. Don't be surprised. They already salivating over Mac Jones. They know, they already said it. That's Purdy's spot. When he come back from injury, Purdy, that's gonna be his spot. That means Mac Jones gonna take somebody's job. Don't be surprised. So I would not get excited about it. At the same time, I would let it play out. We're going to see what happens. Understand this is a tougher team. This is Pittsburgh, but they already know what they're going to do. So just let it play out. And I'll explain it when it happens. I'll tell you what the angle is, because it's probably the same 90-degree angle. They already made the left turn before the whole camp when they gave Shedeur the 12. I'm going to remind you, they think they slick. They were going to get Shedeur at QB2 money. Then they devalued him and got him at a deep discount. So they could very well put him out there against the tougher teams because they do have to start winning at some point. As much as they would like to tank, the pressure is already on. So don't be surprised if their deep discount gets a chance to play, because he does have to have an opportunity to play, and they already know what it is. So just let this play out. But Stephen A. said it don't pass the smell test, and he's right about that. But then he went on to say, well, I can see why Dillon was QB2, I'm paraphrasing. But then this the part I didn't like. Well, Dillon did have a better preseason than to Shedeur. That's bullshit. Shedeur's one NFL pro-style, pro quarterback preseason game against the Panthers' first team defense in the first half is worth more than Dillon's two strapped to a booster chair with a helmet on against Philly's fourth team and whoever else they played fourth team with check down, resulting in PFF of 54. They want to say Dillon had a better preseason because why? Yards. But see, when you allow a quarterback to be sacked 5 times, you're cutting down on his yardage. And that's what they did after Stefanski said, we're going to have to put Shedeur down. That's what he meant. Because the Rams game was after that. He succeeded in the Panthers game, and he was not expected to because they wanted to trade him. And he was set up to get sacked, but he got away from it and went on to win that game. But the Rams game, they got him 5 times, and they used that game to justify Lil Dollar General being the QB2. So we don't even know if Shedeur is getting first team reps, but what I do know is that there's recent video of Shedeur Sanders taking no days off. They said it was because Dillon was named QB1. I think it's because Shedeur knew he was going to be QB2, like he is on the depth chart right now. So I believe it was disingenuous of Stephen A. to say that Dillon had a better season when I know full well Stephen A. knows check down, and some interceptions and PFF of 54, which is failing, does not beat out Shedeur Sanders' PFF, which was much higher and reasonable and rational and pointed to QB2. And every time Shedeur checks off a box that they said he wasn't good enough to do, he still gets denied racketeering, dishonest and fraudulent business practices. And you can throw in the pre-draft process where it seems like they pre-draft with Shedeur on the false pretenses, knowing that Pickett and Flacco were only going to be there through the summer or through November to suck up the reps on the depth chart and keep Shedeur from playing. And suddenly they bench Flacco and then he's gone sooner than they anticipated. But at the end of the day, the Browns have recouped the 2 fifth-round picks that they used to draft Shedeur. So Stephen A. was being disingenuous when he said that he understood Dillon was QB2 because he had a better preseason than Shedeur. If Stefanski had to use a goon squad and to take Shedeur out before the 2-minute drill and put Huntley in and trade Huntley and the goon squad away less than 24 hours later, it proves that they know Shedeur is good and can win. So they stopped it. And they trying to bury him on the depth chart. Racketeering. So um, the good news is the Colorado Buff store has Shedeur and Travis's jersey, which they should. I feel like they should have Jimmy and LeJonte's too. Give people an option. It don't hurt to bring in Jimmy and LeJonte's jersey. I think they should because those guys are very popular already in the NFL. The Panthers have fallen back in love with Jimmy again. He's actually on the promo for the game that's coming up this week. I don't even know who they're playing, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch it to see Jimmy. I don't know who Travis is playing, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to watch it to see Travis. And I don't know. I know the Browns playing Pittsburgh, but now that they can't commit to who the hell Shedeur going to be, I don't have time until the last minute. So understand that. Shout out to Colorado, but y'all need to go ahead on and acknowledge LeJonte and Jimmy Horn Jr. I know you have Shedeur and Travis's jerseys retired. I get that. But you have 4 players balling out in the league. 1 in practice, but it's okay. He'll get there. And I think it would make sense to offer people all 4 jerseys. Okay, so that's where we are with that. I believe with who was this that put this quote in our comments? He said it was Woody. Woody said the best quarterback play this year was the Charlotte game. Now, is that true or false? It's true. Shedeur's preseason game is a glimpse of what he's capable of against the first team defense without first team reps, which is another reason his one game was more of a real world NFL setting than Dylan has played yet. I don't even know if I can say he truly played against a Brian Flores defense because it is highly possible that defense slacked off a little bit. I intentionally looked at the defense's numbers and who was the leading people on defenses, and it didn't look all of that serious to me. And don't get lost on, that's the same Brian Flores that has a class action lawsuit against the NFL, and he still works there. He was a head coach. He alleged he was incentivized to lose, and when he went on ahead and won, rather than take the money, they fired him. So him and 2 other coaches, one from the Denver Broncos, and another guy, they have a class action lawsuit. And I know Flores still works for the NFL, so take what they say about that with a grain of salt. They're going through the courts, which is what they did not anticipate. They've already lost twice. And if that case ever gets to court and they talk about the evidence that he has, that the judge said, yes, I'm going to move this case forward because this evidence is astonishing. The NFL knows what's coming. Maybe that's why they're trying to run out and start a women's flag football team to offset any loss of fans. Maybe that's why this weekend the rapper Gunna is in London already, and he's playing in a celebrity flag football game for the NFL like they had Shedeur playing in. But now it's Gunna. And Gunna is not Nike. He's Under Armour. So they know what they're doing. They hedging their bets against the damage that could come out due to the class action lawsuit. So let me get in these comments and see what y'all are saying. Oh, I wanted to ask y'all too. I don't know if y'all noticed. I put up the I made the live stream. I already scheduled the live stream for Colorado versus Iowa State. It starts at 3:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time because the game started at 3:30. So I decided to go ahead and watch it. I probably knew I was gonna watch it anyway, but I just had to get over my if this go like the last game did, I'ma just not be happy. But you know what? I'd have made it through all of the bullshit with what Cleveland trying to do to Shedeur, and I'm still good, and then Shedeur's still good. So I'm gonna be good, even if our kids get set up again, even if they go 14-0 again, and the play calling holds them back. I'm gonna be all right. So I went ahead and scheduled it. So hopefully y'all will join us for a watch party Saturday, 3:15 p.m., starting to watch the full Colorado versus Iowa State game just to cheer on the game and get together and watch it together. All right. So just FYI. And members, don't forget, we have a live stream tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so it said, Tanzi said, girl, you are cooking tonight. It said Dylan Gabriel is absolutely a pawn. Yeah, and it's like he don't know. I'm like, your family didn't tell you don't let people use you. See, I don't know how these people have not come to understand that if you let these people use you, they just gonna get what they want. Then they're gonna turn around and discard you. And I'm telling you, the same thing is gonna happen to Stefanski because he's already a liability. There are people saying Stefanski is turning the Browns into a circus, and then he's turning the Browns into what did they say, like the Jerry Springer show. I think that was Nightcap. And then you got the Speakeasy over there. So you got a lot of shows starting to call out the fact that Kevin Stefanski hates Shedeur. I just choose to use the word. The Browns are corrupt, and Kevin Stefanski is exposing the Browns with his behavior synonymous to racketeering and corruption and collusion and intimidation and retaliation. I just choose to call it what it is. I think they're doing a good job. I think the collective voices will matter. That's why I say let it play out about this QB2. Because you want to see what they up to. Because believe me, they up to something. Hey, Gail, how you doing? How you doing? Tina, RD. It said, did I actually catch a live? What a treat. Welcome back. Free Shadeur. Facts. Sharon Brantley. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Salute. How you doing? Hey, Political Lil. 24 people. Double tap on the screen. Support the channel. Yes, please support the channel. Again, we are less than 100 away from 5,500. Let's see if we can get there with this live stream episode. Hey, Ryan Nicole. Love it. You from New Orleans. Facts. And my accent is going to keep coming out. Bro, I'm telling y'all, I was going to share. I said, you know what I need to do? I need to just let them know, like, the real deal. Anybody that was live on draft night, we had a watch party on draft night, baby. I might share a snippet of it at halftime of the Colorado game. When I tell you, after they drafted Jacksonville, I ain't going to say I lost it. Let me just say this. I'm just saying, I stepped outside of myself to the point I didn't even go live the next day. Y'all see, I'm here every day. Every day. I make sure my day is done and I do what I got to do so we can get together at 10:35 and put our brain trust together. Baby. Somebody said, are you okay? I was like, no. It's like the moment my brain cells realized that they tried to crush Shedeur, defame him, disparage him, devalue him, just because he was black and they wanted Dart, who's white. Whoo, baby, I'm telling you right now. Sue Cutter, how you doing? How you doing? It said, got to go get me one. Yes, too cute. Yes, I'm telling you. Cozy on the inside. This is so cozy. See, I like to wear hoodies all the time, even in the summer, but not outside because it gets too hot. But I love Atlanta because they have 4 seasons. Like, it was cool today, but it rained, so it's cooler now. Like, if I go step outside right now, it feels so good. And then you got this coziness on the inside. It's not all scratchy or anything. It's not super thick, so it could be too hot, and you got to take it off. It's like you walking around with a throw on. And then I love the 21 on the back. It's hard. It is hard. And I keep receipts. And this came, of course, that's what Coach Prime says, but this came because I was talking about something, and one of the supporters came into the comments, and she was like, girl, you keep receipts. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to put that on a hoodie. So I'm telling y'all will not be disappointed. They are ready to ship. And with my code, NOLA Girl, in all caps, it's right there, scroll across the bottom of the screen, you get free shipping. And who does not like free shipping? I know I do. Sometimes that's the difference in if I'm going to make a purchase or not. So I decided to extend free shipping to people that support me. Because if you don't support me, you don't know about it, right? It's not like I'm taking our ads on YouTube to say this. This is for the community, whether it's YouTube, X, Twitter, whatever. It's the community that supports me. So shout out to y'all. So run and go get you 1 or 2. And, Black Friday coming. So I'm just saying, you're going to want to get them orders in there so we can get them out. And the shipping is fast. I can honestly say the shipping is fast. It said you have earned your keep. Yes, thank you, Political Lil. It said each one use your social media currency to spread the word about this channel. Thank you. Hey, B. Thomas, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Hey, Gracie, welcome back. Welcome back. It said Cleveland is in some witchcraft action. They own it. They own it. That whole Kevin Stefanski in his bio saying he's a servant leader of the Cleveland Browns. That's wicked. That you're supposed to be, if you're gonna be a servant of anything, it better be Jesus. It better be Jesus. But to say you are a servant leader of the Cleveland Browns and you are intentionally holding back this young black elite franchise quarterback because the organization has never had one and want to get a white one next year, you are not a servant leader to the company. You are a servant leader to the philosophy or to the agenda when it comes to holding back black people. Understand that. Winning is not the goal. Hustling is the game. I like that. That's actually pretty good because it's true. It said Jason Whitlock on that tip. He don't know the playbook today. What are you talking about? I don't watch him. I'm pretty sure I got him blocked in my feed. It says sounds like some wickedness in high places. It does. Hey, Callie, how you doing? Callie reposted the stream. Welcome, Callie. Thank you. It said, why is Stefanski allowed to force Cleveland QBs to play to his schemes rather than tailoring the plays to the QBs? Right. Because Haslam, as long as Stefanski is a servant leader to the Browns and being and demonstrating he's a servant leader to the Cleveland Browns, and you know what that is, they trying to turn that team as white as possible. They trying to turn their skilled players white. They've never had a black franchise QB drafted in the first round like they pretended to do with Shedeur. Then they went and racked up Pickett and Flacco and Dillon. You were never serious. They were not your fallback plan because you got Pickett first. They were never going to make Shedeur their first round pick. Think about what Haslam said. If you would have told me we was going to, you see? So you were going to pay him 46, but you're not happy with him at 4 because you pre-draft under false pretenses. And because Stefanski is the one that's the muscle holding him back by pimping out Dillon to be a wedge, that's why he has a job. Like a former Buccaneers coach said, I don't know how he had his job this long because he's not good. His job is not about football. His job is about controlling the black players. And Andrew Barron's job is getting them for cheap with the exception of Myles Garrett. But what did they expect from Myles Garrett? Not to gravitate towards Shedeur. And when he did, what happened? We found out he had 8 speeding tickets and they say he was reckless, even though he flipped his Porsche swerving from a deer, which was a good move. That money was to control him because they knew Shedeur was coming. So I'm going to need your loyalty. And they're not even trying to win. It's wrong to even do that to the defense. That's why I say shout out to Greg Newsome, who was traded to Jacksonville. Hell, they 4-1. That's a blessing. Then to be stuck over here in this hellhole for 1-4. Think about what Huntley said. He didn't want to come back. They cut Huntley when Huntley could have been on the practice squad. But you see, they cut Huntley and went and got Bailey Zapp. But they pitted Huntley against Shedeur and gave Huntley first team reps and never gave them to Shedeur. All of that is going to hold back the Browns. All of it. All of it will. Shedeur was on point today doing those press conferences. Yes, he was. So proud of him. Totally agree, Joyce. Totally agree. And he was out there practicing. I'm not going to try to pull it up because yesterday I tried to upload something. I'll share it tomorrow. He was out there practicing and they say he hasn't taken a day off, but they phrased it as since Dillon became QB1. Shedeur ain't worried about Dillon. He just feel he closer to the pen. And I'm just happy to see him on a day after Stefanski is trying to play with Shedeur's mind. Like, yeah, well, I don't really know if he going to be QB2. I don't give a damn if you put Bailey Zapp out there, if you put your mama out there. Shedeur better than all of them. And you know it, which is why you holding him back. They do not want Shedeur to go out there and ball out. They didn't expect it with the Panthers, and it happened, so they had to set him up to fail against the Rams. And Stefanski needs to be held accountable for that. You put sabotage in there with restricting his movement, which is collusion. It's toxic over there. But he's good. That's all we need to see. And I said God is waiting on him. Don't be surprised if the doors flow open now. Because now he understands how to move, how to walk, how to talk, and what the problem really is. It has nothing to do with Coach Prime. And I said, Shedeur going to Cleveland, what the first thing he needs to learn is that what happened to him in the draft had nothing to do with his father. And I bet he believes it. Why? Look at what happened to Tony Brown. That ain't got nothing to do with Coach Prime. Look at what happened to Quinshon Junkins. That don't have nothing to do with Coach Prime. Look at what happened to Isaiah Bond before the draft. That has nothing to do with Coach Prime. Nothing. Look at Jerry Jeudy. Nothing to do with Coach Prime. Myles Garrett. Nothing to do with Coach Prime. And they're all black. So what? Do the white players not have any consequences for anything? The only white player to gravitate towards Shedeur openly just got traded. And that's Flacco. And it appears to be retaliation. That's why I asked y'all yesterday. So when do you think they decided to send Flacco out? The answer is as soon as that game in London was over and they sat down in the same place where they could sit down and talk, whether it was on the phone or a text message, but they knew by the end of that London game, we shipping him out of here. What day was he traded? And the trade was already put together. They already knew what they was going to do. They trying to pay attention to what happens, how this game go. Flacco is the starter over there. How is it you trade Flacco for a 5th round pick and you send him over there with a 6th round pick? You didn't send him with a 5th. You sent him with a 6th, damn near to the end of the draft, which means he has no value, but he's the starter behind an O-line that is trash. And he's a statue, so he could get hurt. Pay attention to see what happens. I hope he get his feet going and he get the hell out of there, because I don't want to hear he been sacked 5 or 6 times. I already said it's retaliation. Pay attention to this game with Flacco as the starter, going in 5th string, but going in traded for a 5th string. But Shedeur comes in as a 5th string, can't pick his jersey. He don't get the money. Travis gets it, and Shedeur gets Travis's jersey number. That was supposed to be a slap in the face. They every day they try to find a way to say that Shedeur is not valued. We don't want you. We don't care how good you are. We don't want to win with you. I'm like, okay, because you're supposed to be in a competitive business of gaining talent and winning games. You're not supposed to be out here playing plantation. You're not supposed to be out here playing Jim Crow, but that's what you're doing. Oh, I don't want a white franchise quarterback. I can't stomach paying a black franchise quarterback $46 million. So I'm going to get me a white one and give him $50 million next year. Pay attention. The 1st round pick next year will likely be $50 million. If not, it's 49 and some change. They don't think Shedeur belongs. That's why Kevin Stefanski has said we have standards. We have to put him down like he's not human. Therefore, he doesn't belong. After they have said countless times, you know, the quarterback position is the most important position. ... And we can't give it to a black quarterback long term. For those that say Deshaun Watson got $230 million, you need to ask how. You need to ask how he get it. You need to ask what happened after he asked for a trade, because it took him a year to get it. Everything is not as it seems. It said this is made for TV. It definitely is political, ill. It definitely is. If I'm a sports-minded individual and I know what's going on and I know how to screenwrite and produce and I make movies, you know how they did, I think they did the movie about Andre Rison's story and Coach Prime was in it. Whoever made that needs to make this. Shedeur Sanders' journey, NFL QB journey. You probably can't use NFL, but you could say Shedeur Sanders, king of football or whatever, because they're not going to let you say king of the NFL or whatever. But Somebody that made that movie already kind of understands the whole sports dynamic. They could make this movie. Don't let Tyler Perry make it. Whoever made Any Given Sunday, definitely make it. Any Given Sunday too, starring Shedeur Sanders, because make it about his story and it's gonna be good. Sports plantations, that's what it seems like. It said, Queen, do you ever sleep? Yes, I do. Because you have been putting in the work. It said, appreciate your research and receipts. You did it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, rest of it. I appreciate it. It said, Kevin Stefanski is actively trying to break Shadeur's spirit. Right. He's a godless man. Right. And if he's a faithful servant and you don't say you're a faithful servant of God or Jesus Christ or whatever you want to call Jesus in any native language or tongue, that's wicked. That's wicked. And that should tell you a lot. When I first saw that, I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, hell no. It said, I'm over this buck breaking ceremony. Shedeur needs a lawyer. Enough is enough. Shedeur, he's okay. What does God say? 29:11. Jeremiah 29:11. That's what's going on here on Shedeur's behalf. Shedeur God got Shedeur right in the palm of his hand. You can see all that's happening right now is the Browns are being exposed. Shedeur has made it to the point where he fully understands in his heart what's truly going on, what took place in the draft. It's not about his father. For the first time in his life ever, he might be the subject, if you ask me, of a case that could blow the NFL wide open. And in Brian Flores' lawsuit, he actually mentioned how the black quarterbacks are discriminated against. And here we are with Shedeur. This is why I said these people are either arrogant or stupid. Because this case is making, unless they found out some way to stop this case, that case there with that evidence is going to open eyes. And then there's another case out there following the draft. And I don't know how long it's going to take to get to where Brian Flores is, but the Flores case is the one making its way through the courts the fastest. And then everything happening with Shedeur. Shedeur don't have to go to court. At some point, he going to be somewhere on a football field and he going to ball out. And that's just going to be it. I think everybody already knows he should be QB2. What Stefanski is doing is exposing the Browns with this non-committal. What do you have to commit to if he's already QB2 on the depth chart? Oh, you just want to play with his mind. You just want to make him, nervous and upset. Because Stephen A. said Shedeur is starving for opportunity. Shedeur ain't starving for nothing. He's just waiting on God to open the door for him to get there and ball out. And we got to hope they protect for him. So there's no rush. Like Coach Prime said, things might not be right yet. And if that's the last game, the second to the last game of the season, so be it. We saw him get sacked enough in college, and we knew that was foul play. And then Stefanski wants to mirror it over here and set him up against the Rams. He should have been fired already. So long as Shedeur good, let it play out. Because they just exposing themselves. It said the NFL needs to be boycotted effectively immediate. That ain't gonna happen. And I'm with you. But if the Browns won't even boycott their own fan base, and I asked the question, how it is it an average of 64,000 people could show up to watch Deshaun Kaiser go 0-15? 0-15. That's 15 weeks of losing. 0-15. And an average of 64,000 people showed up to watch that. What does that tell you about their fan base? This is at the same time a black head coach was being incentivized to lose, according to Hugh Jackson, which is the same thing that led to Brian Flores' lawsuit. So, are they bold? Are they arrogant? Or are they stupid? I'm going to go with arrogant. Did you see where Jerry Jones flipped off some fans at the game? That's arrogant. That's the same arrogance that Kevin Stefanski is moving with when it comes to mishandling, mistreating, discriminating, colluding, intimidating players, retaliating against players as it pertains to Shedeur. Who gonna check me, boo? We gonna see. Or they gonna see. We all gonna see. It said it's been reported that Jimmy is close to the Mannings and he knows Booster at many SEC schools. I don't doubt it, JD2. I don't doubt it because he was definitely at UT game and we know why he was there. And then the whole Cleveland radio station put together that little tracker I showed y'all, tracking Arch Manning as the leading quarterback because why? They already knew that that's why Jimmy was at the UT Ohio State game because he's pushing to get the Manning kid because he know the Mannings and somebody over there is trying to push the kid out a year early. But the kid is bombing up right now. Next year would make more sense. But they're at the point where who gonna check me, boo? And they've already succeeded by holding back an elite black talented quarterback and drafting Dart based on talent and drafting Tyler Shaw based on talent to the point next year they will, regardless of how the Manning kid plays, he will come out number one. And Nussmeier's son right behind him to the Saints at number 2, and neither one of them would be good. Because who gonna check me, boo? Because that's where they headed. No, he didn't, Fila, but that's exactly why we over here and not over there. It said their ties go back to Tennessee, where Haslam brother was governor. Okay, there you go. There you go. You see what I'm saying? There you go. Tansy said, girl, you were cooking tonight. Dylan Gabriel's absolutely a pawn. Yeah, he's a pawn. And he's bought into it, right? And the way that Dylan has bought into it, they want Shedeur to buy into it to break him down. That's futile at this point. That's futile. I'm telling you, the only thing that's going to happen going forward is the Browns will continue to be exposed. There will be no conversations about Shedeur is this has happened to him or he can't play because this is none of that. You can't even say he can't learn the plays. Why? 3 Browns players were interviewed yesterday, and they told you not only Shedeur ready, they told you the process and how diligent he is, how he comes early, how he takes the initiative to go to Stefanski to make sure he knows the plays. See, what was happening before is you only heard about what was going on with Shedeur from Stefanski, and he didn't want to talk about it. Well, guess what? Now he don't have to talk about it because the players are talking about it. The players like Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward, and Jerry Jeudy are telling you he's ready to go, or telling you how good he is, how he throws a good ball, how it is he studied the plays. They're telling you. So Stefanski is just wasting his time trying to break down Shedeur while the players tell us the truth about Shedeur. Stefanski is exposing the corruption within the Browns organization. So keep talking, my guy. Because nephew is good. Cuzzo is good. It said, I think they need to trade Shedeur and go get Mariota for Sanders. They probably gonna get somebody. So let's see what happened, Turner. It said, I think they told Shedeur he gonna be QB2. We'll see. He already QB2 on the depth chart. We'll see. Shedeur is good. Totally agree. Shedeur is so important for this new generation prone to mental illness. You know what? I totally agree with you. I think the way Shedeur is handling this shows these kids how tough you have to be. And I think a lot of parents are being asked by their little kids, well, why isn't Shedeur playing? Because we know he's good. Did y'all see what happened with the coach, Knox Kiffin? Lane Kiffin's son. Lane Kiffin is the head coach at Ole Miss. Knox Kiffin was taking in a photo doing the Shedeur and pointing at his wrist. And he's a quarterback. And his dad is the head coach at Ole Miss. And they asked him, oh, you going to play for your dad? He said, no, I'm not playing for my dad. I'm going to do my own stuff. You see? And that's Lane Kiffin's son in Mississippi. When I saw that, and we already know Flacco's son went in on him, I'm like, Jesus. I'm like, Jesus. It said they are using all of the old tricks. Yes, all of the old tricks and tactics to try to break this man. Yet he is still strong. Right there, boy, Wig. And I don't know if the younger generation is that familiar. Like the kids at college, the kids just not getting their first job. They coming into a climate, coming out of college with all the hopes and dreams, but you coming into environment that they want to mimic Jim Crow and all the other old tactics to hold back black people, like Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo has to settle with black prospects, candidates that they were setting up on fake interviews because they were never going to hire them. They got busted. Now they got to settle with those people who interviewed on the false pretenses. You see, Wells Fargo went through all of the trouble to risk after they just had a scandal with fraud. Here they out here committing fraud again against black candidates that they set up on sham interviews. And those candidates won. Stay tuned for more of that to happen. Because I think that's what's been happening in the last 3 years, to be honest. It's that the Browns keep gassing Dylan Gabriel up by complimenting his intellect, knowing that they are planting his face. If I'm his auntie, I'm like, look, Neff, let me just say this to you. I know they act like they like you, and you know they probably feeding all of this to you about Shedeur ain't this, that they just trying to use you against him. And here's the thing, nephew, right? They out here saying that they don't know who their quarterback gonna be yet, which means they have you at QB1 and they still saying they don't know who their quarterback gonna be. That means they don't value you, nephew. So here's what I want you to do. Don't be ugly, petty, or buy into nothing about Shedeur. Show him grace, and when it's your turn, you will receive grace. He's a good guy. You're a good guy. Don't let people who are racist against black people, who don't want black people to have the most important position on a football team, which is the quarterback, make you think you better than him and put him down. Because here's the thing, nephew. If they can say boldly with you in the QB1 spot that they don't know who their quarterback is, they don't value you, and they're gonna discard you too for somebody that's white. You're not white to them. You're Polynesian, which means you're, in their eyes, no better than Shedeur. But they will put you in front of him and discard both of you for somebody that's white. So don't buy into it, nephew. That's what I would say if Dylan Gabriel was my nephew. Keep your head on a swivel. Hey, Beach Material, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Browns may get Kirk Cousins. I agree. I totally agree. I actually said Mac Jones when Brock Purdy come back. How long is Brock Purdy supposed to be out? When you all hear them parroting to be building up Daniel Jones, Jackson Dart, they can't talk about Tyler Shaw no more. Notice they cricket on Jackson Dart this week, right? Now it's Mac Jones. See, the baton have moved. It's Mac Jones. I said, okay, Mac Jones gonna take somebody's job. Let's see. I don't know how long Brock Purdy is out, but you know Shedeur could have went to Cleveland, to Cincinnati and played for a year with Joe Burrow, but they don't want that. They don't want Shedeur to get out there and ball out. And then when Joe Burrow get in, people like, put Shedeur back in because he's not good. They know what they're doing. This is why Shedeur would have never been QB3 behind Cooper Rush. Because they want Cooper Rush to take Lamar's spot. Lamar is out, right? The Ravens, who were on to a promising season, are now second to last, just above the Browns. So yes, the NFL is rigged. I totally agree. I totally agree. There's no competition for talent. They're colluding for talent, restricting players' movement. There's no the teams are supposed to be, the owners are supposed to be competing against one another to be the best. No. One owner is telling the other one how much you can't pay a quarterback because then I got to pay my quarterback that much. So we going to all do the same thing. We all going to agree nobody can get Deshaun Watson's contract. And y'all think he valued. Okay. Just like they agreed that nobody can get Shedeur. It's not a coincidence Shedeur is in Cleveland with Deshaun. I said that from the beginning. So yes, I agree with JD too. Browns may get Kirk Cousins. The only reason I say no is because his contract is heavy, heavy, heavy. And I personally think they want him over there breathing down Michael Penix Jr. neck, just like they want Will Levis breathing down Cam Ward's neck. So that's the only reason his contract is heavy. But Mac Jones, just remember that name. I don't know if anybody knows how long Brock Purdy's out. If it's just another week or two, Mac Jones. I'm going to look into it. It said if they get Mac Jones and they pay with him, he going to cuss them out like he did them coaches with the Patriots. Now, it's funny that you say that, Hebrew child, because Bo Nix done already cussed out Sean Payton twice. And you see he don't have nothing to say. But he was all vulgar in Russell Wilson face. And then you saw that other coach, what was that? What team was that? That player dropped the ball, even though people said it was a touchdown because he released the ball when he got over the goal line and the ball was over the goal. Whatever team that was, they fined that coach $100,000. And you know what I said? It's funny. I've never seen a black head coach berate his players so vile and disgustingly. And it's always white coaches berating their black players. Sean Payton had no sauce for Bo Nix, who was all in his face. But they want to lie and falsely accuse Shedeur. And that's why they get treated like that. That's why not Skipping out here talking about, I'm doing my own stuff. Respect. Lack of. Deep dump. Check downs. That's it. Check downs. It says Stephen A. Smith is a grifter and cannot be trusted. Stephen A. Smith is talking out of both sides of his mouth. And I sure hate that. I sure hate that, bro. I hate it. I hate it, but it is what it is. It said preseason is not the real deal. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because had he lost them damn games, both of them, he would probably just stay in QB3 hell. But he won one. And the only one they want to talk about is the Rams game, like it matters. See, the Rams game matters, but the Panthers game don't. That's bullshit. That's all it is. It said, like Prime said, don't be scared of them check downs. Everyone else doing them. Fact. What did we say? When he told Shedeur that, I was like, that's what I'm talking about. That's it. I laughed, but, I knew what he meant. He said, don't be scared of it. That's a father. That is a father. Telling his star son who know he got an arm on him, deep ball accuracy, and can put up numbers. Don't be afraid of them check down, son. Everybody else using them, so you might as well use them too. That's what I'm talking about. That's a father. That's a parent. But that's why Shedeur is the guy that he is, right? Because he has that guidance, right? He has that guidance. And I love that. I love that. And when you look at his interview today, like, let's see if I can find it. Nah, I ain't gonna do it. I'll find it tomorrow. I'm scared now. I'm scared now. But no, facts. That's it. Use them. And that's what when we were watching him play with the Rams and they started stacking him, we like, look, just throw the damn ball. They just want you to hand the ball off. Just hand the ball off, Shedeur. Don't even worry about it. They don't even respect you. Don't even try to be a hero. Don't try to extend the play. Just get that damn ball to Quinshon Judkins. That's all you need to do. And they tight. And I hope Gage gets to get in. Whenever Shedeur's play, he has to play at least one game. When Shedeur get in, I hope they let Gage play. I hope Quinshon Judkins is the QB. I hope Jerry Jeudy, Isaiah Bond, or the wide receivers, of course, Myles Garrett leading the defense, because they're going to light it up. Watch what I tell you. Mason Graham, too. They're going to light it up. Mason Graham's girlfriend is black. I don't know if I told y'all that. Not that that's any justification for them to overpay him. But it is a reality. So it is a reality. I think she's a model. She's pretty too. It said Prime is wild as hell for that, right? But it's the truth though. I mean, he lie? Did he lie? Ain't no point you going out here. I mean, you gonna still, you don't need to get an A++. Just go and get your A+. Hand off them check downs, do your little play action, right? Because they mediocre. When you're elite and you're an overachiever, and everybody else is lazy or mediocre or check down, just be slightly above that. Don't worry about the A++. Just go ahead and only get the A or the A plus. No need to overachieve. This the Browns. So don't even worry about it. It said, are the Browns incentivized to lose? They sure act like it. I think so. I think so. I think they're incentivized for a lot of things. I think they got that new stadium, even though they got money for the public. I think when it came to the NFL, they did some favors. Deshaun Watson was one of them. RG3 was one of them. Tyrod Taylor, Deshaun Kaiser, Jackson, Shedeur Sanders, just in case I didn't say his name. Yeah, I think so. And again, it's not a coincidence that out of 5 black uh, NFL draft prospects, 5 of them were falsely accused. All 5. Kyrie Lacey, deceased. Shedeur Sanders, you see what happens, discriminated against every day. They do him dirty. They try every day, even though it's bouncing off of him like he's wearing some kind of kryptonite. They still trying it, but it's just ineffective. And then the other 3, I think the other 2, Quinshon Judkins, Isaiah Bond, including Shedeur 3, ended up in Cleveland. So 3 out of 5 ended up in Cleveland. 1 deceased. The only other one, Maxwell Harrison, I think is with the Bills or something. That's not a coincidence. That's how they conduct business. They devalue their black players. And Andrew Berry is the ringleader. How many times have you heard Andrew Berry say, well, you know, the quarterback position is the most important position, like Shedeur can't have it. And he black. And that's why they hired him. He's doing their bidding too. Stefanski is exactly what you think he is. And Berry is hiding behind him. Shedeur Sanders can drive the ball down the field and has better arm strength than Dillon. Right. And they don't want him to use it. So Coach Prime was right. Don't be afraid to use them check downs. Shedeur will get his turn on the field again and showcase his skills. Yeah, because they have to. We don't know if he's going to get to showcase his skills, but we know he's going to get to play. When Shedeur gets out there, like with the Rams game, they want him to do check down, check down, check down. When Shedeur played against the Panthers, I saw him sit on the sideline because he was mic'd up, and he told whoever it is he was talking to, I want a deep ball. He had to ask for it. He had to ask to be able to throw a deep ball. That didn't happen in the Rams game. He was restricted to check down. And he was taken out at the 2-minute drill, which every quarterback wants to play. And then they gave it to Huntley, and Huntley was cut before lunch the next day. Premeditated. It's a circus. That's facts. It is a circus. It is definitely a circus. Well, Stefanski is a servant leader, and no one asked him to identify his master. There you go, Amber. That's it right there. That's it right there. That's why I say Stefanski gonna get them all roped up. He's trying to tell you. So is Barry. Well, you go back and listen to that pre-draft press conference. Barry's trying to tell you. We got him as a deep discount, so he was expensive, but we got him for cheap. And then they leave it up to Stefanski whether to play him or not, knowing Stefanski is a servant leader of the Cleveland Browns. And Haslam said it. He wasn't my pick. So why the hell would Stefanski put in Shedeur if Haslam is going to just tell you in that manner? He wasn't my pick. That was Barry's pick. So now you know Stefanski telling you who his master is. Just listen to him talk. Just listen to him talk. Ryan, my sister. Ryan who, Matt? We so far from whatever I said. So you gotta let me know. It says CJ Shedeur knows what he needs to do. That's true. He does know what he needs to do. Hey, Selmo, welcome back. Welcome back. Selmo, are they saying anything else in Cleveland other than what we hearing on the news? What's the latest in Cleveland? Let us know in the chat. Like, what's the real talk in Cleveland about Shedeur? I don't care about the QB2. What's the real talk? Are they trying to get a veteran? Are they trying to put Bailey Zapp out there? Let us know. Please, thank you. Please and thank you. Please and thank you. It say, got me ready to cuss. I know that's right. Go Atlanta. Yup. Selmo, what kind of face is that? What she said, you had an out-of-body experience. I do understand. I damn sure did. Bro, I said I was going to share it because I guess I'm okay. But but it was funny. It was like the moment the thought met my brain power, oh, Lord. It was like, They did all that to that kid just so they could get Dart. That was it. That meant they took a risk with his life like they did Kyron Lacey. They play with these young men's lives so they get what they want. They don't care about them. The sweatshirt is cute. Yeah. So y'all run over there and get you one. The shipping is free and they ready to ship. It said they are trying to set Jackson Dart up as the next great white hope. And that failed in New Orleans. I was so happy for Spencer Rattler because they do him the same way. You just don't know about it. And I don't think they talk about him in press conferences. If so, I don't watch it. They don't want him either. See, what's going on with Spencer Rattler, they won't even let Shedeur get to that point. Spencer Rattler had no choice but to play because they went out and spent money on Tyler Shaw, and he ain't good. And they don't want to talk about it, so they're like, look, just put him out there. And then they didn't think he was going to do good, but he's a good quarterback. He actually won their competition. Unlike Shedeur, and this tells you how serious it is in Cleveland, Spencer Rattler, they made him go the distance, and they gave Tyler Shaw another opportunity to try to win, and it failed. So they was like, fine, we can't deny that Spencer Rattler's the best. It's the difference in the fan bases. See, the Saints not going to show up 15 weeks and watch a black quarterback get smashed every week, get flattened, get embarrassed. They're not going to do that. They're going to hold the organization accountable. That's why Spencer Rattler's playing, but they don't want him to do well either because they want Nussmeier's son, and he ain't good either. But that's who they want, so they probably like, just put him out there because it's only for a year. See, they won't even let Shedeur get out there because they don't want the same thing to happen. They don't want to be forced into rolling forward with Shedeur. They want to do what they want to do. That's the difference in the fan bases. The Saints fans, they stand on them folks' head down there. It said the glazing for subpar QB right now for Jackson Dart. Yep. Have they returned to talking about him? I know they was playing against the Eagles tonight. Anybody got the score? Let me know the score of the Eagles versus the Giants. I think it was tonight. Let me know if anybody knows. Sharon said, hey, Shedeur Sanders looks so good. It said he got this. It said the Browns will make Shedeur debut a spectacular. It says Shedeur Sanders, he's keeping it positive. Yes, he is. He's keeping it positive. That's facts. That's facts. That is fact. Shout out to Emmanuel Johnson. It says, so Shedeur ain't QB2. Shaking my head. Stefanski really hate this man. That's what everybody's saying. That's what it's proven. That's what it's proven, right? It's proven that Stefanski is the one that's holding Shedeur back, which is clearing and shielding the owner. And that's Stefanski. He gonna find out how that works. So Emmanuel Johnson is right? Shout out, thank you for the love, thank you for the super chat, super sticker, for the support. I appreciate it. It says, so Shedeur ain't QB2. He's still QB2 on the depth chart. That's why I shared this right here, because he's still on there, unless somebody took him off. Let me check again. like I said, I pulled it, Browns, it came right up. It said, you visit this site often. It said, you visit this site often. Browns depth chart. Let's see what we got. Shedeur Sanders is still QB2. QB3 is Deshaun Watson. Now, I'm going to say this. This could always be what it was going to be. And Stefanski trying to pull what they say, pull Shedeur's chain, kind of make him pensive. And, here's the thing. They think when they say something or do something, it negatively affects Shedeur because that's the goal. So Stefanski probably hopes that he got Shedeur on pins and needles because according to Stephen A., Shedeur is starving to start. I disagree with that. I don't believe Shedeur is starving to start. I believe Shedeur is staying ready because he know at some point he's going to get his opportunity. We don't know what it's going to look like, but we know he's going to get his opportunity. So I feel like Kevin Stefanski says things to the media. Either he's not answering the question or he's saying something negative that is like, well, I don't know, like trying to pull his chain or make him uncomfortable. You can't break Shedeur, sir. And we're going to break you if you do. So you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So he's still QB2. I don't know who put him on here as QB2 that fast because it's been up here. Once the move was announced, it was up here. Just like I went to the Jaguars depth chart Greg Newsome is already listed as the starter. So somebody is actively updating this information, and they're getting verifiable information from somewhere. So either that's what's going to happen, which is why I say just let it play out. Because Stefanski could be trying to play head games with Shedeur through the media. And I don't know if Shedeur watching his press conference. I wouldn't watch it. For what? Right? I know somebody trying to antagonize me. I'm not gonna disrupt my own peace by listening to somebody that does not have my best interest at heart. The only thing that's happening is Kevin Stefanski is exposing himself and exposing the Browns as a toxic culture, toxic workplace that is hell-bent on restricting Shedeur's movement, which is collusion, that seemingly intimidates and retaliates against players to get their will to control the locker room, and that actively discriminates against Black franchise QBs long-term that was supposed to be in the first round. That's all that's coming of this from this day going forward. Evidence. That's it. All right, I guess we're gonna get ready to get out of here. This was good. So we'll be back tomorrow. It's a couple of games this weekend. Saturday, Colorado, 3:15. We'll be live with a member, not a member, but like a watch party. So anybody's invited. You come to the watch party. I already scheduled it. So if you see the thumbnail, this is what the thumbnail looks like. I make a new thumbnail every week. I post it on X, and I post it on YouTube. And I have a new I have exclusive content on Patreon. I just dropped, I think, a video with it yesterday about Kyron Lacey, some new information that came out. So I shared that. So, just look for it. It's out there. This is what it looks like. That way y'all can, if you see the thumbnail, you like, oh, that's her thumbnail. Yeah, that's the thumbnail. I don't think I have the logo on here, but I use the same graphic style every week so you can know it's me. And of course it says What She Said Sports will be live. So y'all can join us for that. Don't forget to run out and get your hoodie ready to ship, and shipping is free using code NOLAGIRL. And we will be back tomorrow, 10:35 p.m. Eastern time. Members will be back at 6 p.m. After this episode, I'm going to schedule the members only podcast at 6. So Friday we'll be live at 6 and likely to 10:35 p.m. And Saturday we'll be live at 3:30, and then I'm going out after the game. So I'm just live at 3:30 for the whole game, which is about 4 hours. So from 3 about to 7, 3:30, 7:30. We'll be live on Saturday. Then I'm going out, and then I'm getting some rest. On Sunday, probably watch Travis, watch Jimmy, probably have to multicast because I don't know when it's coming on. And I know y'all gonna tell me about the game with Pittsburgh, so I'll be looking for that information as well, because I boycott them until I find out that Shedeur Sanders is truly QB2, and I might pay attention if he's QB2. And they do have to make somebody else active on the roster before a certain time, maybe on Friday or Saturday. So stay tuned for that, and don't get upset if it's not Shedeur, and we'll celebrate if it is. All right, but don't be surprised if they tell us at the last minute if it's him. But he's active on the roster at QB2 already, so we shall see. All right, y'all, we're gonna get out of here. Thank you, Emmanuel Johnson, for the super sticker. I appreciate it, and we'll be back tomorrow. All right, so I hope to see members tomorrow at 6. Otherwise, I'll see y'all at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports, everybody. Don't forget to predict the score once the YouTube uploads the live stream, which is right after this. You can go to the comments and predict the score for Colorado versus Iowa State, and I'll ask again tomorrow. Good night, everybody. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports.
Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Be sure to join our daily live stream and listen up to What She Said Sports on the go on Spotify. Thank you for watching What She Said Sports. Stay for another video.